Okay. Ladies and gentlemen, it is very good to see you again. And you can tell that we haven't been doing this for a long time because I forgot to shave and Paul forgot to show up. But I'm actually so welcome, Tim.
Good morning, everybody.
And I wanna quickly turn to Paul and Paul, before you talk about your hang on just one second. Too many things going on.
Good morning, everybody.
So it's been a while. It's been a while that we all sat in the same room, virtual room.
Yep.
So tell just before you start on your presentation, and trust me, I was surprised to know that there is a release 11, which means that there had to be a release 10.
That's right.
I mean, as time goes by, I still remember that when it was just like, okay, anyway. So Paul, tell us two things. You are the founder, co-founder, and CTO at Advanced 7. Tell us what's happening with your company, what the latest and greatest. And then second is that you are also the co-founder of TribeLab. And tell us what's happening there. And you owe us that much.
Okay. All right. So at Advanced 7, we're still doing what we've been doing for the last 25 years, which is going out and troubleshooting difficult problems. One of the things that is a challenge for any consultancy is what do you do with the consultants during the time they're benched? And if you think about the sort of business we're in, where we have to make sure that we're fairly responsive, although we're not an incident recovery company, we try to be able to respond to customer demand quite quickly. So we've got guys who are literally sitting on the bench, which is costing the company money, and obviously we want to try and earn something out of that time. So we've been writing some course material which we hope to then present as a commercial offering. But we're also actually working on some software, which is something quite new for us. I don't want to tell you too much about it yet. I will. I'll make sure I demonstrate it here on LMTV when we're ready. We're just about to cut an alpha test version this Friday, so we've got some people who are going to play with the software for us. It's as you probably might expect, it's software around trace analysis, and get some feedback from them, and then we'll be ready to release a beta release. And
so this would be a revenue product, right?
It would.
Yeah.
It would.
That's great. That's great.
It would be sold. The idea is that it will be really an offering more through the TribeLab brand than through the Advanced 7 brand.
Tim and I, we're very, we do what we do here just for fun, but the stuff that really get us excited is product, is branding and technical marketing, all that, and so we'll want to be part of that. We want to help you with that.
Absolutely. Well, that'll be great. I mean, we're sort of taking a Steve Blank lean startup type of approach to this, and so we're producing what they call the minimum viable product to see if anybody's interested, because we don't want to pile lots of effort and money into this thing and only to find out nobody actually cares. So we're starting off with something quite small. It's quite powerful actually in what it's able to do.
It's interesting because I was in I went to a 10-day meditation retreat, and as it turns out, there are a lot of young people there, and many of them are from Google and all the technology companies. So I end up driving one of the young person back to San Francisco, and he's all into technology and product, and we talk a great deal, and finally I explained to him what an MVP is, a minimal viable product. It is not a product. It is just enough of a product concept that you can put in front of the customer and get bashed up. That's all, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. Good. So go on.
So we're doing that on the TribeLab front. It's really good. It's I don't know. We seem to be. We started off. The growth was very slow. It's one of these usual things. But we now. We looked at the numbers this morning. We've now got 295 registered users on TribeLab, plus other guest users. We're getting about 3,000 page hits a month and about 400 visits every month. So it's not staggering. It's not the level of, certainly not the level of Love My Tool, that's for sure. But you know, it's growing well, and considering it's quite narrow, the focus is quite narrow. You know, we're promoting troubleshooting techniques to like-minded people, and yeah, but it's coming on well. I'm really pleased.
But it's never about numbers. It's always about having enough, you know, getting more and more people who care about your success than your failure.
Yeah.
Right. So if you say, you know, I have 300 people who care about my success, that's a lot of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I can't say that for Tim and I. I know for a fact that there are at least 300 people that care about Tim's demise.
Yeah, I tell people about TRANSUM all the time about going there, and I'm just going to start doing more, because as people begin to use it, I get comments back.
Yeah.
And they've all been positive. And I think you've opened up a new, you know, what's one of the first things we do in diagnostics is we baseline, right?
Yeah, yeah.
And baselining used to be to see if we could get enough frames through without corrupted frames and collisions and bad CRCs and, you know, that kind of stuff. But nowadays we're more focused on, is the application environment working? Are we getting, you know, what is our expectation to responses? And if people would even do just the fundamentals, it would be a lot easier for them to recognize aberrant behavior, attacks, breaches, and that. Instead of spending 220 to 300 something days now is the average to find a breach. And in some banks it took years for them to find that they had been breached because they had no baseline. They had no fundamental place to compare it to. And TRANSUM gives them that ability to baseline response times, and it's to me it's like a no-brainer. Yeah. But it is a new concept apparently.
Well, the thing that I'm always excited, and you know, I try very hard not to be too technical, right? Because I'm surrounded with technical people. It's not my place. But the thing that I'm really excited about working with Paul all these months and years is that I see him, like, you know, he has this tripod, three things, you know, this tripod of success. You know, with his company, he has over 100 years in aggregate of experience, professional experience. And so, you know, they have seen different problems from different angles. They have, you know, gone from technology to technology. So that's one part of it. The other part of it is that from that experience, they have developed tools. And until now, it's always been free tools, but I'm excited that now they're going into, you know, revenue tools. And so that's the second part. And the third part is kind of tied all together is their passion for education. Is sort of raise the awareness, not only, you know, the customer but peers. I mean, I just think that's tremendous.
Yeah, I got an email the other day, Paul, by a guy that I had accidentally given him transum.org as the email address, and I got an email that says not transum.org. That's something else. And I'm like, uh-oh. Yeah. So I apologize.
Okay. All right. But you did enough damage here, Tim.
Yeah, I do all the damage I can.
Okay, Paul, go ahead. So today you want to talk about a new release.
A new release of TRANSUM.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
I just wanted to just demonstrate some of the new features in TRANSUM release 11.
And before you start, and I'll do it here, and then I'll do it when we finish. If people are interested in getting a copy of TRANSUM, how do they do that?
I'm going to show you that.
Okay, cool.
Yep, I'm going to show that. So let's start off with just that thing. Okay, I'm going to do this in a rather messy way. It seems like the best thing to do. So. This is the one of the pages from the TribeLab site. It's as soon as you sign into the TribeLab site, this is where you end up.
And it's actually TribeLab0.com, not TribeLab.
It's TribeLab0.com. Actually, TribeLab.com, we've now got ownership of that domain.
Cool.
So TribeLab.com works as well. We just haven't completed the migration.
Okay. All right.
So you can use TribeLab.com now.
Okay.
That will get you here.
Okay.
Okay. So we have multiple resources here within the site, and of course one of those resources is this thing called TRANSUM. And if we click in there, we can see that we've got a support forum where we've got some exchange of bug reports and ideas and questions, etc. But here's the actual plugin. It's written in a language called LUA or Lua. It's one of the languages you can use to extend Wireshark. And it's very simple. You just download this plugin, you click on it, it downloads, and you install it into the plugin directory of Wireshark. And I've shown that in previous videos, and this user guide here will give you full details about how to install and run TRANSUM in Windows and in Linux, etc. So it's all there, easily obtainable, totally free of charge. We do get you to register on the site for two reasons. One is because we're keen to build a community, because TribeLab is really a community of like-minded people, and we're trying to build more of a community spirit. And the other reason is that we're able to then better support you through the support forum if you've got questions regarding TRANSUM. So that's how you get it. Now if we have a look at what it looks like, I've just started Wireshark here with the TRANSUM plugin activated, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show the first of the features that's changed in release 11. Now in release 10 we had protocol support for generic TCP protocols, for SMB, which is the protocol that's used for file servers, Microsoft file servers, and a number of other DNS and SYN-ACK exchanges and things like that, and it would measure all of these response times. But the one thing that was missing was support for DCE RPC. Now this is a protocol that's used in a Microsoft Exchange environment, so when Outlook talks to the Exchange server, when an Exchange CAS server talks to the mailbox server, it's using this protocol called DCE RPC. Now you can't use the generic the generic TCP the generic TCP dissector of TRANSUM for this protocol, because it does some strange things in the way it works. So we had to write something specific. So I've loaded it up, and you can see here that we've got the TRANSUM data in the packet, and it just appears in the normal way where it shows the response time information. And I can map that onto this screen. I've created myself a TRANSUM profile. So if I put that up, now you can see all of the response times for all of these RPC calls in the trace. And I can further summarize it and remove some of the information by just typing in the filter term TRANSUM, and now I'm seeing the performance of every one of these requests. Sorry, this is a bit of a short trace, but I had to anonymize some of it, and I didn't have time to do all of it. So, but I think it's enough to demonstrate the capability. So that's something that's quite new. We've also improved the way that TRANSUM handles TCP retransmissions. It did handle TCP retransmissions in the past, but there were some areas where it was slightly weak, and we've strengthened that. Sorry, I can't believe that. So I always switch these off.
We can't work. They're connected to us.
Yeah, let's get rid of that. Okay, so there's one area.
Hey, Paul.
Yeah.
When you talk about this, I think we should point out to people more than I did earlier. There is a fundamental reason to do this before you start experiencing problems because you baseline.
You could baseline your performance, absolutely.
Absolutely, and to me, you should be doing it with TRANSUM anyway to learn how to use TRANSUM, and since it's so quick and so easy to repeat, it should be part of your, I say weekly discovery to just say, hey, everything looks cool on my, fundamental goal of my network being my server. So that's my only comment.
Yeah, no, that's a good point. So one of the other things that we, as a troubleshooting company, something that we have to do a lot is extract what is fundamentally application level data out of network packets. And Wireshark does a pretty good job, as you can see over here on the right hand side in the info field. It's actually interpreting the content of the data. But sometimes we need to go just a bit higher. So we introduced the concept, a new concept in TRANSUM, and that concept, we can see it here in the preference, is called summarization. Now, we've only just started producing summarizing code for TRANSUM, but I can demonstrate our first attempt at this with looking at SQL database traffic. So if I just briefly close that file, and let's have a look at another one. So here's a database file, and it's got database traffic, and you can see it's got SQL batch commands in it, and if you look down here in this lower area of the screen, you can vaguely make out SQL commands such as select top one of all columns from, and then etc. Now what we really want is this information here, this select information. We want this up here in the summary information, because then we can get an instant view of the performance of SQL queries and stored procedure calls. So what we're able to do is, the first thing I have to do is I have to switch on the summarizer capability, which isn't on at the moment. So let's just enable that. And then I have to enable the summarization of SQL. We put a sort of big switch at the top in case people didn't want to use this capability. And now you can see it started to add the summary information down here in the detail window, packet detail window. And what we can then do is we can add that as a column up at the top here. And then again I can type in a filter term like TRANSUM, and suddenly I'm seeing the response time for every SQL query that's hitting the database. And that for us is tremendously powerful, because we can then export this directly from Wireshark out into a comma-separated variable file, CSV file. We can then further summarize it with pivot tables, and we can show average performance and slow performance, and even in here we can show the slowest performing SQL queries. If I just reorder my columns, you can see I've got some 5-second queries here. So this, you can see actually that the reason this is experimental, you can see we've got a bit of flaky code in here. We're picking up a few bits of rubbish in the summary data, and we're still working on this. But even given that, this is a big step forward. It certainly was for us in terms of what we're now able to do very quickly. Now we've got, you can think of TRANSUM, this version of TRANSUM, as being the son of a bigger TRANSUM. We have a Java toolkit that has a function in it called TRANSUM that does this, but that means you have to batch up the processing and process it with the Java toolkit. In this way, we're showing the response times directly in Wireshark without having to use any other tools. So those are the two main features of the new version, and I'll now stop the screen share if I can stop it. Why am I not able to stop that then?
Doesn't like you.
It's not letting me stop it. Let's go in there. Oh, there you go. That's better.
There you are.
Aha. So that was a very quick and whirlwind sort of summary. It seems, I suppose, for two facilities, two extra functions, DC, RPC, response times, and summarization, it all seems a bit trivial, but actually it was quite hard to achieve. And we're sort of pushing the boundaries of Wireshark. I mean, not Wireshark. We're pushing the boundaries of the Lua plugin language. Sort of going about as far as we can go with it, I think, or certainly pushing the envelope.
That's really cool stuff. What I like to see is like 3 or 4 or 5. I think he showed me once. You had a slide that talked about the 4 or 5 big things that TRANSUM did, and the value of it. And again, I repeat this because I get frustrated literally daily when people tell me that, oh, how are we going to know if we have a problem? Well, you're never going to know if you don't baseline something. I mean, and you've got to find the gold in your network. If your network, uses SQL, or if it uses other databases, head up, whatever, you've got to learn to baseline this stuff. And TRANSUM really makes it almost automatic. I mean, makes it really smooth, and it's repeatable.
Yeah, the attraction that I see with it for network engineers is, so often a network engineer is told that, a performance of a system is due, the slow performance of an application is due to a network problem. But if you're using something like TRANSUM, you can pretty quickly prove one way or the other whether that's true.
Right.
And for me, that's really attractive, because some people have, when I've posted information about calculating database response times, because I had a more manual procedure where I created some YouTube videos to show how you could do it. When I posted that, people said, well, why would I want to do this? Why not just run a SQL trace, a profiler trace, which can give you all the response time information? And that's quite true. But the trouble is that a DBA often doesn't have the time to run a profiler trace. He might be concerned about the resource it's going to use on his SQL server, and also maybe he doesn't feel he needs to, because because he feels that it's a network issue. So this is just coming at it from another angle, providing the network guy with the ability to take network trace data and convert it into something that your DBA will understand. Your DBA is going to understand a select statement and a stored procedure call.
And you don't always want to believe what your tools tell you anyway. I mean, your devices tell you anyway. Because if they're corrupted, they're going to tell you corrupted stuff. Yeah.
So, it's all about fast. I'm into fast at the moment. Faster, faster diagnosis, less use of expensive or valuable, not expensive, but valuable people's resource. When people are being dragged off of, senior technical people are being dragged off of projects to come back and look at a BAU problem, what we need is speed. We need some way of finding the root cause very quickly so we can minimize the time we have to use that guy. So we can get back to the strategic project.
Yeah, and also Wireshark is the best effort technology, just like SPAN is. So you want something that doesn't load down the technology you're using to monitor it with. So with TRANSUM, it narrows it down. It's a filter, basically a very quick filtering and calculation technology. So you're getting the benefit of not listening to your servers and routers and that. This is giving you what it sees from a very pure point perspective.
Yeah.
And people forget these things and think that, Wireshark's a great technology, but it runs on a PC, that runs on a bus, that runs on a NIC card that's not designed to be promiscuous. There's all these little nuances, and you can overuse the Wireshark application to where it starts not giving the correct information. It does the best it can do. But with this, it's so quick, and it's a slice in time.
Yeah, I mean, I think Wireshark, you know, Wireshark is intended for analysis rather than capture. I know it does do capture.
Yep.
But if you, it was telling when I asked Gerald, I think it was on here or maybe I was at SharkFest. I said to him, how do you see it panning out in dealing with the higher speed technologies? And he said, I don't really. I expect those, the data to be captured by dedicated, devices that are designed to do it. Wireshark's really going to focus on the interpretation of that data.
Right.
So, that is definitely seems to be a direction.
Well, it has to be.
Yeah, we're still using. We don't use Wireshark for capture. We never do. We use dump cap, which is the underlying mechanism.
Yeah.
We're looking at what we should do next because we are pushing dump cap pretty much to its limits. At the moment, we're getting what we need, but it's not ideal. So, we're going to have to consider what we're going to do next.
I think the next big step for diagnostics capture is going to be the metadata-based platforms because they can capture everything because they use the metadata capture, which is a lot cleaner, a lot faster, but can be opened up and seen,
Right.
the events underneath it. But I think a lot of time is wasted by watching events on your analyzer that you never need to look at to begin with, because your network really has a lot of trash on it. You can't get away from it. I mean, starting with IPv6 traffic that doesn't go anywhere and just opens you to being hacked. You got all this just very busy technology going on below layer 4 that you don't always need to look at.
No.
And baselining really is, I think, the key to the future, because you don't have to go back and look at 40,000 trace files. And I think the average we used to do at Network General was that it took about 2 to 3 minutes to go packet to packet to packet to packet, because you had to figure out where that packet meant, where it came from. Was it an IP packet? Was it a TCP packet? Was it an application packet? And today, with 10 gigs is probably the norm. At least 1 gig is the norm.
Yeah.
That's a lot of data in a very short period of time, and a lot of it's wasted. Well,
okay, so there's a good advert for RPR as a problem diagnosis method. I mean, one of the things about the RPR method is you take slices through the data, and also you start from the top and work your way downwards rather than start looking at TCP and IP and trying to figure out if there's something wrong, which is we couldn't do that. Advanced 7 as a company, we could not do that as our troubleshooting method because it would take us way too long. We start from the user's experience, and as I always say, where the eyeballs hit the screen, we start from there and then dig down and inwards. And
that's the way to do it, because otherwise,
I truly believe that is the way to do it.
Otherwise you're just checking, you're looking at a bunch of stuff that you don't do. Because if you look at the actual interface, eyes on the screen, eyeballs on the screen, as you said, that's what everything comes out finally.
Yeah.
If that's not working right, then you got other problems, and you start working down to find out where that problem lies.
Absolutely. Yeah.
As opposed to the opposite. But you still should baseline periodically.
Yeah. No. I can see the point in baselining. I can see the point in baselining.
Yeah, because
it's just
like that, you can determine if you've got a problem.
Yeah, I think the problem, the thing is to troubleshoot problems in the other direction, starting at the lower levels. You need a tremendous amount of experience to be able to determine what's normal, what's acceptable, and what's not.
Right.
And it's not easy to gain that level of experience,
Not unless you play a lot with it.
Yeah, it takes a long time, years and years of analysis.
It's a doctor-patient analysis. If you know your patient well enough, or if you're an analyst and you know your network well enough, it's actually pretty easy to skip a lot of the lower stuff and go right to the major problem. So it's that kind of relationship, I think, is that people should consider themselves, analysts should consider themselves a doctor and understand what the patient basic physiology is. What was it the doctor said the other day? Usually, they take your blood pressure, they pinch you, they look in your eyes, look in your ear, look over your nose, and they do all this stuff. And the other day I was talking to a doctor, and he says, "You just look sick." And I said, I'm sorry, I've been this way all my life.
Here's the co-payment.
Yeah. But I think that's really what we do when we look at a network. We say, hey, because we get that call from the user and says something's wrong. Well, we got to determine whether it's the user issue first, because we're not dealing with quantum physicists as a norm in our user environment. But then we also have to look at our patient and see, hey, it's not the patient, it's the interpreter, or yeah, it's something wrong with my network. Now I've got to find out where it lies.
Yeah. Hey, Paul, we just passed the 30-minute mark a little bit. So
sure.
Maybe it's time to wrap up, and then we can save it for the next show. Yeah.
Yeah. So you want me?
Yeah. Anyway, before you do that, I will give you the last word. Most people, everybody knows that Tim and I have been partners for a long time, but most people think that I'm just a pretty face here, and he is the technologist. But the reality is that he is the brain, I'm the hand. So while you're giving your presentation, Tim has been giving me instruction, and he's basically telling me, Denny, it's time to kind of elevate this and do more with TribeLab and TRANSUM. And my answer to him was that, well, since TribeLab is nonprofit, there's no reason why we couldn't treat it the same way as we did with Shockfest, which is that it's just another community that we like to promote. So, but of course we need to reciprocate. So we need to think of this like, we need to advertise for you, and you need to advertise for us. And so as a first step towards that gesture, we have given you a gift today, Paul. We have created TribeLab.tv.
Right.
And it is now pointing, for now, and you can tell us where you point to, but for now it is pointing to a subpage within Love My Tool called LMTV TribeLab. So you just type in TribeLab.tv, that's where it's going to go. And once we work out the details, I will ask you for a 170 by 200 banner, small banner, that we can put on the left side of the screen, and you can you can create the banner that showcase TRANSUM or showcase TribeLab as you like, and we'll help you to promote. And I think that's one half of the coin. Okay, that's the non-profit part, and then we are as excited in promoting that as we are your future partner in promoting the revenue part. Sounds good?
Okay. Yeah, that sounds great. That sounds really useful.
Is that what you had in mind, Tim?
Yes, sir.
Did I do my job?
Yes, sir.
Besides just being the pretty face here.
Yeah, and you really did need to shave to be pretty face here, but that's okay.
All right, Paul. So I'll give you the last word, and then we'll sign off.
Okay. As Tim and I were discussing, I believe that to troubleshoot problems, you need to start probably at quite a high level and drill your way down into a problem. TRANSUM offers you something that enables you to summarize response times, order them by slow down to the fastest. You can dive straight in there and find out what's going wrong, and it presents the information in a way that's consumable by not just you, but also by your other colleagues in the IT department. So it's freely available. I really would love you to try it. So please get in there, give it a try, and give us some feedback.
Excellent. Thank you, Paul. And thank you, Tim.
Paul, thank you. That was really great. People need to wake up to these type of things and start being dynamic on their network. Don't be reactive. Anything that's reactive is bad. Be proactive. And this gives you that power.
And that's great. So so Paul, Tim, we have a few things lined up in the first part of November with one of our sponsors, right?
Right, we do.
So you mind just a few words on that, and then who that sponsor is and what we plan to do with them, and then we'll sign off.
Well, it's Extra Hop, and we're going to be hearing about some new products that they're releasing. And then right after that, I think we were going to work with the people over at
Live Action.
Live Action. Thank you.
Yeah.
Went brain dead. And they got some new releases. So Extra Hop is a diagnostic technology. It's incredible base single plane type technology, and it's fantastic, founded by some really nice people. And then the live action is announcing a lot more connectivity with Cisco and a lot better migration of all the information you can get from the Cisco environment. So now we're going to have a lot between now and the end of the year. I think we're going to be busy almost every week.
Yeah, a lot of stuff to do before the holiday. Yeah, for sure.
So,
okay. All right, with that, we're going to close the show. So we'll see you soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Be blessed, Paul. Take care, buddy.
Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Tim.